Hello everyone, Vanguard of Valor here, and it is good to see you. Hopefully, it's good for you to see me too, because I think this is the first time I've ever actually done a video with Facecam on YouTube. Maybe not the last, though, who knows? Either way, it's good to see you guys, because I've got a couple different things I want to talk about today for this here channel update, and hopefully they'll be interesting to you, because there's a lot of different stuff that I feel is kind of worth mentioning, explaining what's going on with the channel, and my kind of ideas for it moving forwards, and so on. So, first thing, why hasn't there been a lot of content lately? Well, there's been a couple of reasons for that. The big one is that I've had some problems just getting motivated to make content. And the reason for that is I got a new job recently, which is great. It pays really well, the perks are great, and it's a job, it's fine. It's enjoyable enough to do. Basically, I'm doing tech support for a big e-commerce company, so I'm helping people run their businesses all day, and that's fine by me. But it is a normal job, which I haven't really had for a while, because I've mostly been lifeguarding in the past, teaching swimming lessons, and that's not like an 8-hour-a-day thing, except in the summers where it was. But I mean, normally it's not an 8-hour-a-day thing every day of the week. So I've had lots of free time, which has given me lots of opportunities to make videos in the past. But now that I'm working a more standard job, even though my kind of days of work move around, it means I'm working a lot more. And because I'm working a lot more, when I'm off work, I no longer really want to put effort into things. And I've just been, relaxing and playing Overwatch and still playing games sometimes, but not wanting to put in the effort to actually record them or be entertaining while I play them, which kind of makes things a little bit harder if I want to be recording for YouTube. So I just haven't been doing it. So that's kind of one problem that I've been struggling with, and I'm hopefully going to be trying to get into doing more stuff, because I got a lot of series I want to make. I've got a lot of games I want to play for you guys, and I think it'll be fun. Some series that have been going on for a long time that we want to try and keep going with, like I want to come back to Duskers if we can. I'd like to get back to Sunless Sea if we can. I want to keep doing XCOM, because that's not done yet. Maybe we go back to some of the other older series that we've left abandoned too, because I don't want to necessarily leave them forever, like Curious Expeditions being released soon, so that might be fun to come back to. And I've got a bunch of new games that I want to try playing too that I've purchased recently, and I'm looking forward to playing for you guys. And I'm not going to spoil what they are because I haven't shown them yet, so it'll be a nice surprise for you. But the problem is I have this log of things I'd like to do, but because when I'm done working, I just don't want to do them. I haven't been doing them, so I've been working on trying to get more motivated to kind of balance work and the rest of my life doing things that I enjoy, like this. So hopefully soon we'll be getting back to actually getting more content posted, but that's sort of an explanation on that side of things. And there's some other things going on too. Like, you'll notice this isn't the same room if you've seen me streaming that I've been in the past, if I've ever not had my green screen up. And that's because we just moved recently. And this new house is great. It's quite a bit nicer than the other one. We're still renting here. And you'll notice my walls are very bare. The reason for that is I've got all of these nice big acoustic foam sheets here to put up on the walls, but I haven't figured out how to actually put those up yet. The problem is the way they suggested it was basically gluing them to the walls, and that seems to me like a very permanent solution. And since this is a house that we're only renting, and I don't know how long we're going to be here for, I don't really want to glue them to the walls. So what I've kind of been thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to end up putting them on wooden sheets and hanging those, but because I haven't, I don't know what the best way to do it is, I just haven't done it, which is not great. And because the sound setup in here isn't quite as nice as I would like, it also makes me want to make recordings less. So I gotta just get over it and when they do it. And the other thing, make the recordings anyway, because I'm sure people would rather have something than nothing. But it just it bites into the motivation to actually make the videos. So that's sort of what's going on in the background here that is impeding the production of videos. It's not like I don't want to do it anymore. It's that at the time when I have to do it, I no longer feel like doing it. So that's sort of a view into what's going on my side of things. Sort of explain why there hasn't been a lot of content lately, for which I do apologize. I'd love to get back into making more videos more regularly. I just need to actually want to do it, which is a totally unrelated issue. Surprise, surprise. So, the next thing we want to address here is going to be the Patreon page that we created for this channel a while ago. The big thing here is that it no longer exists. So if you've been supporting me on Patreon, thank you very much for your help here with the channel while I was working with trying to do YouTube full-time, and while I was moving into this stage of my life where I don't feel I really need it anymore, but it is now defunct. So the Patreon page has now been closed. There may come back in the future if I ever do decide to try and do YouTube and things full-time again, but there's two main reasons that I closed it down for now. Reason number one is that the whole point of it was to support me making all the different types of content that I was making so that I could try and do it full time. And I'm not making those types of content right now for various reasons, like we've just discussed. So I don't really feel like it's appropriate to still have a Patreon page to support making those things if I'm not doing it. The second thing is that the whole point of the Patreon was that I was trying to do it full time, which meant I didn't really have the income to support myself otherwise, and I really was sort of using that additional help to be able to do more content and do it more regularly as the main thing I was doing at the time. But I have a job now that pays quite well, and I no longer need that additional financial support, so I've decided that it's more appropriate now to close down the Patreon. It may come back at some point if we decide that I want to try doing full-time YouTube again, but for now, I feel like it's better for us to just not have it, because that way I don't feel like I'm letting anybody down in that kind of way. And especially when there's people's financial support behind it, I feel like it was more significant. So that has been closed off, so you don't have to worry about that going on anymore. I'm fine. I can handle it. But I feel like that was something that's worth bringing up in case people were wondering what was going on with that. I know there was only a few people who were currently supporting me on Patreon, but I figured it was worth addressing generally anyway. But there's a couple other things I'm interested in getting started with that I figured I'd address in this little channel update here. I am going to be trying to stream more often, so if I do get an evening where I don't feel like making YouTube recordings, what I'm going to try and do instead is I'm just going to try and stream whatever I'm playing, because I normally play something in the evenings. There's a new Dark Souls 3 expansion coming out, so I might stream some Dark Souls 3. I've been playing a ton of Overwatch because I love that game. Might stream some more of that. And I'm just going to try and, stream a little bit more. Not saying I'm going to 100%, because as I've just explained, when I get around the opportunity, I never want to, but I'm going to be trying to do more. And I might also start another series here on the channel, which is less about video gaming and more about role-playing games. Because I really like playing games of that nature, things like Dungeons & Dragons style tabletop adventures. Personally, I play with the Pathfinder system. I got my rule book right here. Mostly, I am a dungeon master, so I'll organize games for my friends to play, and then they'll do their best to thwart my efforts to, impede their progress as they try and make their way through the adventure that we've crafted together. And I think it's a really cool thing. It's really fun. I would think more people would really like it if they got into it. I've got, tons of notes here on adventures for the future. And I've just been working on another one in my free time here because I really like it. So I feel like it'd be fun to kind of share that with you guys. Sort of hopefully share my love for role-playing games and maybe make it more interesting and accessible to you guys. It's the kind of thing where I think it's a really cool, really interesting storytelling genre that is particularly interesting because the story doesn't have a defined plot. It evolves as it plays. I think it's really cool. It's a really interesting, inventive genre that kind of doesn't exist in other formats, because even video games, which are open-ended or open world, they still have a very set story, whereas with a role-playing game, it can go wherever you want it to, which is really cool. So I might do a series about talking about sort of role-playing games and different aspects of them. They probably won't be super long videos, but they'll each tackle a different topic in sort of the what is, role-playing games subject, so people who don't know what they're getting into can sort of get a basic understanding of how the genre in general works. And I'll be using Pathfinder for my examples because it's the system I know, but there's plenty of other systems out there as well. So if the idea interests you, then there's lots of things that you can get into, which I think is really cool. So that's something else that I've been thinking of working on. And that's basically what I wanted to talk about for this update here. I wanted to talk about sort of what's going on with me, what's going on with the channel, what's going on with the channel in the future, and I think we've covered that here. So hopefully this has been interesting to you. I know I'm not necessarily the best talking head figure because I don't do this very often, so I don't know exactly what I should be doing with my face, for example, or what have you. But hopefully you guys have found it at least informative and interesting, and there should be some more videos on the content, videos on the channel soon, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. So let me know what you thought about this in the comments, and if you have any input, that's the place to give it. I look forward to seeing you guys soon, and until then, bye-bye.